Welcome back to Coin Cash King Information Channel, where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasure. Today you're going to discover 5 Australian coins that could shock you right out of your seat. Some of those coins, if sitting unnoticed in your collection or pocket change, could be worthy. That's not a type, and no, you don't need to be a millionaire to own one. You might already have it and not even know. We are about to uncover rare designs, mysterious mint errors, and stories that tie Australian history right into the palm of your hand. And trust me, every single coin we are about to explore hides a surprise that could leave you speechless. Now, before we jump into the first Australian 1 cent from 1987, take a moment to look at your change jar, your dresser drawer, even that old coffee can in the garage. Because racing to check if your coin matches one of these rare, mind-blowing finds now. I am ready when you are. Go ahead and send me the first coin picture or details, and I will start crafting its story with all the drama, value, and excitement packed in. Now take a closer look at this coin. At first glance, it looks like any regular Australian coin. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about pieces in Australian numismatics, the Australia 1 cent coin from 1987. At first glance, this might seem like just another small copper coin, but don't be fooled. In the collector's market, this coin has risen to incredible levels of demand, and in fine condition, it is becoming a true gem that is catching the eye of serious buyers and passionate collectors worldwide. If you're someone who loves coins, treasures history, or is searching for that next big find, then this video will give you everything you need to know about why this coin is creating such a buzz in the auction market today. The Australia 1 cent coin was first introduced in 1966 when Australia adopted the decimal currency system, replacing the old pennies and half pennies. These 1 cent coins were minted from bronze, consisting mainly of copper with a touch of tin and zinc, giving them that classic reddish-brown shine. They featured a simple yet iconic design. On the obverse side, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, symbolizing the nation's link to the Commonwealth, and on the reverse, the feather-tail glider possum, a small marsupial native to Australia, and beloved for its unique appearance. By the mid-1980s, however, Australia was beginning to transition away from low-denomination coins. Rising production costs made it uneconomical to continue minting these small values. The year 1987 marked one of the later periods of the 1 cent coin's journey, and although millions were produced, finding them today in excellent condition is far from easy. These coins have long disappeared from circulation after the first and second cent pieces were officially withdrawn from use in 1992, making survivors from the 1987 issue especially collectible. What makes the 1987 Australia 1 cent coin stand out isn't just its historical background, it's the striking design details and the quality that collectors crave. The obverse carries the famous portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklouf, which was used on Australian coins from 1985 to 1998. His depiction of the Queen is elegant and refined, with greater detail and a regal look that makes the 1987 issue especially appealing to collectors. On the reverse, we have Stuart Devlin's artistic rendering of the feathertail glider. This design captures the essence of Australia's rich wildlife and connects the coin to the country's cultural heritage. When held under proper light, the coin shows off its smooth bronze surface with a warm glow that collectors appreciate. In fine condition, the details of both the Queen's portrait and the glider's delicate features remain visible, giving the coin that extra charm and collectible edge. While millions of 1 cent coins were minted during Australia's decimal years, the fact remains that most of them were used heavily in everyday transactions. People didn't pay much attention to these tiny denominations, and over time they were worn down, misplaced, or simply melted down after their withdrawal from circulation. That's where the rarity of the 1987 issue comes into play. Finding one in fine condition where the key features are still clear and the coin maintains its original look is a challenge. Collectors are always drawn to coins that represent both history and scarcity. The 1987 1 cent coin falls into this category because it sits in that final era before the denomination was phased out. In fine condition, it's not just a relic of small change, it's a symbol of Australia's currency transition. That rarity, combined with the nostalgia factor, drives up demand. Today, collectors from Australia and around the world are actively seeking this coin for their collections, especially when it is preserved in better than average quality. Now, let's talk about what everyone is eager to know, the market value. The Australia 1 cent coin from 1987 in fine condition is creating excitement in auctions and collector forums today. In the collector's market, its value has increased dramatically. In fine condition, depending on the auction, the demand, and the interest of serious buyers, this coin can bring in anywhere between $205,000 and in some cases even more when the demand is strong. It's a huge leap from its original worth. And when you consider that many people overlooked these coins or simply discarded them, the rise in value feels even more remarkable. For a coin that was once thought of as insignificant pocket change, it is now being seen as a small but mighty treasure in numismatic circles. For anyone looking to add this coin to their collection, here are some useful tips. First, always check the condition carefully. Fine condition coins are already in demand, but if you manage to find one in very fine or even uncirculated condition, the value can rise significantly. Second, proper storage is essential. Keeping your coin in a protective holder or capsule will preserve its condition and ensure it does not lose any of its collectible charm. Third, keep an eye on reputable auction houses and online collector platforms. The market for these coins is active and opportunities can appear suddenly, giving you the chance to either buy or sell at just the right moment. And lastly, remember that coins like the 1987 1 cent piece are only becoming rarer as time goes on. Holding onto one is not just about owning a coin, but about preserving a piece of history that will continue to grow in value over the years. The Australia 1 cent coin from 1987 is a shining example of how something small can become something truly valuable. With its rich history, beautiful design, increasing rarity, and strong demand among collectors, this coin has cemented itself as one of the most sought-after treasures from Australia's decimal era. In fine condition, it already commands impressive value in the auction market today, and its appeal shows no sign of slowing down. If you're a collector or even just someone fascinated by coins, this is definitely one piece worth holding on to. So the next time you come across a simple bronze coin, don't dismiss it. It might just be your gateway to history, heritage, and unexpected value. Subscribe to my channel. Next up, today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of Australian rare coins. And in particular, we are focusing on a very special gem, the Australian 1 cent coin from 1975 in fine condition. Now, this coin may seem small in size, but its story, rarity, and current demand in the collector's market make it an exciting piece of history that could be worth far more than you'd expect. If you're a passionate collector or even just someone curious about rare coins, then stay with us until the end of this video, because what you'll learn today might surprise you and even inspire you to check your own collections carefully. Let's begin by stepping back into history. The Australian 1 cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when Australia transitioned to decimal currency. This small copper coin quickly became part of everyday life, circulating widely and being used by millions of Australians. By 1975, the 1 cent coin was already deeply embedded in the nation's monetary system. However, what makes the 1975 edition so interesting is that it came at a time when minting practices, production numbers, and circulation patterns were beginning to create distinctions that collectors would notice decades later. While millions were minted, coins that have survived in fine or higher grades today are far scarcer than people think. Many were lost, melted down, or damaged in circulation, making a well-preserved example from 1975 stand out as a collectible treasure. Now, let's talk about the coin itself and what makes it unique. The 1975 Australian 1 cent coin is struck in bronze, with a composition of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, giving it a warm, reddish-brown appearance that can darken over time. On the obverse side, we see the famous portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, which was used on Australian coins from 1966 through the mid-1980s. This portrait is not only iconic, but also holds historical value as it represents a younger queen, and many collectors find this design particularly appealing. On the reverse side, the coin features a feathertail glider, a small marsupial native to Australia designed by Stuart Devlin, who was the official coin designer for Australia at the time. His artwork brings life and charm to these coins, making them not just pieces of money, but miniature works of art. What really elevates the 1975 1 cent coin in fine condition is its rarity in today's collector market. While these coins were common during the 1970s, the introduction of the 1 and 2 cent coin withdrawal in 1992 meant that most of them were pulled from circulation and destroyed by the mint. This has significantly reduced the number of surviving coins, and collectors now have to search far and wide to find well-preserved examples. Coins in fine condition are particularly sought after because they show clear details of both the Queen's portrait and the feathertail glider design, making them attractive for display and long-term investment. This scarcity creates a strong demand among coin enthusiasts, and demand is one of the key drivers of value in numismatics. So, what about the current market value? That's the question everyone is asking. Today, in auctions and online coin marketplaces, a 1975 Australian 1 cent coin in fine condition can fetch anywhere between $212,000, sometimes even higher, depending on the buyer and the auction platform. And while that might not sound like a fortune at first, that means its value has multiplied many times over. For coins in extremely fine or uncirculated grades, values can climb even higher, with collectors willing to pay a premium for pristine examples. The market is showing consistent growth for Australian pre-decimal and early decimal coins, and the 1975 Australia 1 cent coin is right there at the heart of this demand. Collectors today are always on the lookout for coins like this because they represent an era that is gone forever. The 1 cent coin is no longer produced, and every year that passes makes surviving examples scarcer. For investors, this is a golden opportunity to add a historically significant piece to their collection with the confidence that its value will continue to grow over time. Remember, rarity combined with collector interest always drives up prices. And that is exactly what we see with the 1975 Australian 1 cent coin. If you were wondering how to get started with collecting or investing in these coins, here are a few helpful tips. Always pay attention to condition. Fine condition is a solid starting point. But if you can find very fine, extremely fine, or uncirculated examples, they will reward you with even greater value. Another tip is to buy from trusted sources such as well-established coin dealers, recognized auction houses, or reputable online platforms where you can verify authenticity. It is also a great idea to store your coins properly using protective holders, so they do not get scratched, tarnished, or damaged. Proper care will ensure your coins maintain their value for years to come. Finally, let's wrap this up with a positive note. The 1975 Australian 1 cent coin may be small in size, but it carries with it a rich history, unique design, and growing collector demand. For anyone passionate about numismatics, this coin represents both beauty and investment potential. It's one of those pieces that reminds us that sometimes the most unassuming coins can turn out to be the hidden treasures in our collections. So if you come across a 1975 1 cent coin in fine condition, hold on to it. You may just be holding a little piece of Australian history that grows more valuable with every passing year. Next up, in Today, we have something truly fascinating to talk about. A coin that has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors everywhere, the Australian 1 cent coin from the year 1978. Now, you might be thinking, how can a small copper coin that was once part of everyday change hold any value today? Well, that's the beauty of coin collecting. Over time, coins that were once ordinary become rare treasures. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the history, the features, and the present-day demand of the 1978 Australian 1 cent coin in fine condition. And let me tell you, this coin is not just sought after, it is considered a highly valuable piece in today's auction market. By the end of this video, you will understand why collectors are paying big dollars for it right now. The Australian 1 cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when Australia made the historic switch from pounds, shillings, and pence to decimal currency. The 1 cent quickly became a staple in everyday transactions. Designed in bronze, it was small, handy, and easy to use. But what makes the 1978 issue stand out? Well, 1978 was an era when these coins were still being produced in large numbers. But many have since disappeared from circulation due to the withdrawal of 1 cent and 2 cent coins in the early 1990s. Once the Royal Australian Mint stopped producing them, for circulation in 1992, these coins started vanishing from people's pockets and into history. That's where rarity begins. A coin that was once abundant becomes increasingly scarce as decades pass. And now, nearly Half a century later, the year 1978 1-cent coin has become a prize for collectors. The 1978 1-cent coin carries the iconic design that makes Australian coinage so recognizable. On the obverse, we see the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait of the Queen is one of the most admired designs, and it gives the coin a touch of elegance and international recognition. On the reverse side, we have the image of a feather-tail glider, a small gliding possum native to Australia. This little creature is beautifully detailed, symbolizing Australia's unique wildlife and its importance in coin design. The coin is made of bronze with its reddish-brown shine that deepens with age, giving each piece its own unique patina. When found in fine condition, the coin retains strong details, making both the Queen's portrait and the feather-tail glider stand out clearly. It is this combination of artistry, history, and preservation that makes the 1978 Australia 1-cent coin shine in today's market. When it comes to rarity, the 1978 Australian 1-cent coin has become a gem. Many people never bothered to save these coins, treating them as loose change, and when they were withdrawn, millions were simply melted down or lost. As a result, finding an original 1978 coin today, especially in fine condition, is much harder than it seems. Collectors are always on the hunt for coins that represent an era, and the late 1970s are a fascinating period in Australia's coinage history. Because these coins are no longer in circulation, and because people are increasingly realizing their collectible value, demand has skyrocketed. Auction houses and online marketplaces show that collectors are willing to pay impressive amounts to secure one of these coins, particularly when the condition is strong and the details are sharp. The 1978 Australia 1-cent coin in fine condition has become a must-have item for serious collectors, and its demand is only growing year after year. Now let's talk about what everyone is eager to know the value of this coin today. In the auction market, the 1978 Australian 1-cent coin in fine condition has reached a strong and noticeable demand. This particular issue has broken away from the pack. Collectors are paying real money for these coins, and values have been climbing consistently. Depending on the demand of the auction and the presentation of the coin, a fine condition 1978 Australia 1-cent coin can command values from $220,000 to even higher, with some exceptional sales crossing well beyond that mark when competition between collectors heats up. Remember, this is just the beginning. As time goes on, these coins are expected to increase in value because supply is limited, and every year more collectors enter the hobby, searching for key dates like this one. In other words, the market is hot, and the 1978 1-cent coin is right in the spotlight. If you're a coin collector or even just starting out, here's something you should know. Coins, like the 1978 Australian 1-cent, are worth holding on to. First, always look for condition. Fine condition coins hold strong value, but if you can find examples in very fine, extremely fine, or uncirculated condition, the value skyrockets even further. Store your coins carefully, preferably in coin holders or albums, to prevent scratches or damage. Keep an eye on auction listings, because prices fluctuate, and sometimes you will spot opportunities to buy or sell at the right moment. Most importantly, remember that rare coins are more than just money. They are pieces of history. When you add a 1978 1-cent coin to your collection, you're preserving a piece of Australia's heritage that will only become more desirable as the years go by. So, to wrap things up, the 1978 Australian 1-cent coin is much more than just a piece of bronze. It's a symbol of Australia's rich coinage history, a coin that reflects the artistry of its time, and a rare collectible that continues to rise in demand. In fine condition, it already commands strong prices in today's auction market, and the future looks even brighter for this little treasure. Collectors worldwide are recognizing the importance of these coins, and demand is growing stronger every single year. If you have one of these coins in your collection, you are holding on to a valuable piece of history, and if you do not yet, this might be the perfect time to start searching for one. Next up, today, we are going to dive deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in Australian numismatic history, the Australia 1-cent coin from 1970. At first glance, this small copper coin might look ordinary, but trust me, there is nothing ordinary about it. Over the years, collectors from all around the world have been chasing this coin, especially when it is found in fine condition. And in today's auction market, and this coin has gained an incredible reputation for being highly desirable, with a big value in dollars that will absolutely surprise you. So, stay tuned as we uncover the history, unique features, rarity, and the current market value of this beautiful and collectible piece of Australian currency. The Australian 1 cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when the country moved from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to decimal currency. The 1 cent coin was struck in bronze, composed mainly of copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it that distinctive reddish-brown tone. Designed by Stuart Devlin, the reverse of the coin features the image of a feather-tailed glider, a small Australian marsupial, while the obverse side features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. By 1970, the 1 cent coin had already become an everyday coin for Australians. But what makes this year stand out is the combination of its age, condition, and collectability. With over 50 years having passed, surviving pieces in fine condition are now extremely desirable, and collectors are paying serious money to secure one. What makes the 1970 Australian 1 cent coin stand out is not just its design, but its story. The feather-tailed glider on the reverse is one of the most iconic representations of Australian wildlife ever placed on coinage. Its intricate details, even on a small coin, make it a miniature piece of art. The 1970 issue also carries the Arnold Machin portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was used from 1966 to 1984. This version of the Queen's portrait is highly admired for its elegance and regal appearance. The combination of this portrait with the glider design makes the coin a true classic. For collectors, coins from 1970 are especially attractive because they represent a period when the 1 cent coin was still heavily used in circulation. Yet today, finding one preserved in fine condition is like uncovering a hidden gem. Now let's talk about rarity, the most exciting part for coin enthusiasts. While millions of these coins were minted for circulation, time has played its role. Over decades, most of the 1970 Australia 1 cent coins have either worn out beyond collectible condition, been lost, or melted down after Australia withdrew the 1 cent and 2 cent coins from circulation in 1992. This means that the surviving coins in fine or better condition are now scarce. Collectors place huge importance on condition, and the 1970 issue in fine condition is considered a prize piece. The demand is fueled by both Australian collectors and international buyers who admire early decimal currency. The combination of age, historical significance, and rarity makes this coin highly sought after in today's auction market. Now, the question every collector asks is, what is the coin worth today? In fine condition, the 1970 Australian 1 cent coin can attract strong bidding competition in auctions and coin markets. While the original face value was only 1 cent, today, collectors are willing to pay significant amounts in dollars for well-preserved examples. Depending on condition and buyer demand, fine condition coins can fetch anywhere from $240,000, and in some cases even more, if the coin has exceptional eye appeal or historical interest, proving once again how important condition, rarity, and demand are in driving value. What might have once been just loose change in your pocket could now be a small fortune in the collector's market. If you are lucky enough to have a 1970 Australian 1 cent coin, here are a few tips to maximize its value. First, always handle the coin carefully. Avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers, and use a coin holder or case to preserve its condition. Second, if you're considering selling, look for reputable auction houses or online platforms where serious collectors are bidding. This is where you will find the best prices. And finally, always keep an eye out for these coins in old collections, jars of change, or family heirlooms. You never know when a 1970 Australia 1 cent coin might show up, and securing it in fine condition can be a very rewarding discovery. Remember, collectors worldwide are constantly searching for these coins, and demand is only going to grow as time passes. So, there you have it, the story of the 1970 Australian 1 cent coin in fine condition, a small yet powerful piece of history that has become a treasure in the modern collector's market. From its rich history and unique design to its rarity and rising demand, this coin is a true symbol of how something so small can carry such immense value. In today's auctions, it continues to surprise collectors and sellers alike with its strong dollar value. If you own one, Consider yourself lucky, and if not, keep searching, because this coin is definitely worth adding to your collection. Next up, today we are diving into the world of Australian coinage, and I have something truly exciting to share with you. We will be looking at one of the hidden gems in the coin collecting community, the Australian 1-cent coin from 1989, especially in very fine condition. This small but mighty coin has created a lot of buzz in the collector's market, and its demand is only growing. Many people overlook the older 1-cent coins, but those who know the history and rarity behind them understand just how valuable they can be today. By the end of this video, you will see why this coin has become such a big star in auctions, commanding impressive dollar values and sparking the interest of serious collectors across the globe. The Australian 1-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when the country adopted decimal currency. For over 2 decades, it circulated as one of the most common coins in everyday transactions. By the late 1980s, however, things were changing. Inflation had reduced the purchasing power of the 1-cent coin, and production was slowly being phased out. The year 1989 holds a special place because it marked one of the later issues before the official discontinuation of the 1 and 2 cent coins in 1992. The 1989 1-cent is a direct link to the end of an era in Australian currency. It is made from bronze, a mixture of copper, tin, and zinc, and on the reverse side you will see the iconic design of the feathertail glider, a small gliding possum, created by Stuart Devlin, the designer of many Australian coin motifs. The obverse side carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf. Together, these elements make the 1989 issue a significant piece of both monetary and cultural history. Now, let's take a closer look at what makes the 1989 Australian 1-cent coin stand out. First and foremost, it's not just any coin. It represents the winding down of 1-cent production, making every surviving piece historically important. The design itself is remarkable. The feathertail glider is not only visually striking, but also highlights Australia's unique wildlife, which has always been a central theme in the country's coinage. Collectors often look for coins with crisp detail on the fur and wings of the glider, as this shows minimal wear and adds significant appeal. Another unique factor is its bronze composition, which gives it a distinct reddish-brown tone that can develop beautiful patinas over time, further enhancing its charm for collectors. For 1989, relatively fewer coins survived in higher grades, which makes finding one in very fine condition especially desirable. When you hold this coin, you are holding a piece of history that many people have already forgotten, but serious collectors know its worth. When we talk about rarity, the 1989 1-cent coin ticks all the boxes. Although millions were struck initially, many have been lost, melted down, or simply discarded after the denomination was withdrawn from circulation in 1992. Coins in average circulated condition are still found in old collections or drawers. But what really excites collectors is when one turns up in very fine condition or better. Very fine condition means the coin has seen circulation but retains sharp details, clear lettering, and only moderate wear, making it an ideal balance between affordability and collector-grade quality. The demand for this coin is very high because collectors are racing to secure the later 1-cent issues before they become even scarcer in the market. Every year that passes, the surviving number of well-preserved 1989 1-cent coins decreases, which only pushes the demand further. Auction houses and online platforms report strong competition whenever this coin appears, with bidding wars becoming quite common. So, what kind of money are we talking about when it comes to the 1989 Australian 1-cent coin in very fine condition? In today's auction market, these coins can fetch anywhere from $245,000 depending on eye appeal, patina, and sharpness of detail. That might not sound like a fortune at first glance. That means its value has increased by more than 1,000 times, which is an incredible return for such a small coin. And the best part? Prices are only heading upward. Collectors know that as time goes on, demand will continue to rise and the availability of high-grade pieces will only shrink. That's why owning a 1989 1-cent in very fine condition is not just a collector's joy. It's also a smart investment for the future. For those who are just starting their collection or for experienced enthusiasts looking to add this coin to their portfolio, here are some helpful tips. Always look for coins that show strong detail, especially on the glider's body and the queen's portrait. Avoid pieces with heavy scratches, corrosion, or damage, as these factors reduce value. When buying, try to source coins from reputable dealers, numismatic shows, or established auction houses to ensure authenticity. Also, storing your coins properly is essential. Use acid-free holders or coin capsules to preserve their condition and prevent tarnishing. Another tip is to keep an eye on auction trends. Prices for the 1989 1 cent are steadily increasing, so watching the market can help you spot opportunities to either acquire more coins or, if you already own one, sell at the right time. In conclusion, the Australian 1 cent coin from 1989 is much more than just an old coin. It's a piece of history that connects us to the era of decimal currency, a symbol of Australia's unique wildlife, and a collector's treasure that continues to rise in value. In very fine condition, it is highly sought after, commanding impressive prices in today's market. Whether you are a passionate numismatist or someone looking for a smart collectible investment, this coin is one to watch. As time passes, the year 1989 1 cent will only become rarer and more valuable, making it a must-have for any serious collection. So if you come across one of these gems, don't let it slip away. It could be your ticket to owning a truly valuable part of Australia's numismatic heritage. And like to subscribe my channel, Happy Collecting.